Good afternoon and welcome to Rosemary's World of Cannabis. It is high noon in Rock Hill, South Carolina, and we about to get the show up on the road. I believe we got our caller calling in for the day. Hello, you're welcome to Rosemary's World of Cannabis. How can we help you? We are doing great. I'm gonna make sure that we got everybody that we can hear well, because we're still working out some issues on a few things, but we're trying to make it work. How are you today, Miss Ellen?
I am wonderful. I am excited to be here. I always love talking to you, but know that I'm going to love spreading the word to everybody and just empowering everybody with you. You are a powerhouse. Thank you for everything that you do.
Well, thank you so very much. And people like you and others keep me going. Y'all just don't realize that it's a win-win situation when you enjoy talking to people and working with them. And, just telling the truth. I mean, that's something that is lost in today's society. So it's an honor and a pleasure. Would you like to tell the people who you are and where you're calling from and the reason for your call today? Because I'm quite sure it's going to be very interesting.
Okay. Well, first of all, my name is Ellen Nikki Worth Lambert. I'm the Communications Director of North Carolina NORML. The reason for my call today is to spread some knowledge and some education and hopefully empower some more activists or would-be activists, teach them where to start and what we need to do. And also, I want to start calling the people who are ready to get in the business, in the cannabis business. It's time to get ready because it won't be long and it'll be here.
Yeah, that is so true. That is
time to get
so
ready.
true. Yeah, but the first thing we got to talk about, and I know you listened to the show this morning, what we was talking about, so unfortunately, Attorney General Sessions. Notice how I say that with such glitz and glamour at this point. Mr. Sessions has seen to the point that he'd make some of our friends and family members a little bit uncomfortable, and everybody is watching the calendar for the 19th because it's almost like an Armageddon for us in the cannabis community. For the simple fact being is that he's trying to turn the clock back to the 1930s, that we won't have no CBD, we won't have no cannabis, we won't have anything.
Well, my response to that is that we still have states' rights. And just because one little man wants to say whatever it is that he wants to say, and he wants to profiteer some more off of the industrial prison complex, we should not put our heads in the sand. We should not run and hide. We should stand up and, blow the phone lines up in Washington, D.C., like you talked about this morning on Facebook.
Yeah, that's why I'm late getting on the show. I do apologize, guys. That's what I was doing as between having 3 conversations with people about this morning's show. I'm trying to put together everything, so please kick this off. It's going to be a little late getting up at 1 o'clock. We're going to be starting this, and this program that I'm starting is going to run through January 19th because it's so important that we get those calls out there. And these calls got to not only come from the Carolinas, they got to come from everywhere.
Yes, ma'am. And it only takes 2 or 3 minutes to call and voice your opinion. And if it's busy, keep calling. That means we're jamming it up. That means we're causing trouble for them.
That's exactly right.
That's what needs to happen.
See, because right now they got too many luxuries on their hand where they can sit back and think, oh, we got this in the bag. We are not going to get, bombarded by, the cannabis community because we've been too quiet. And that's what, and that's what kind of bothered me a lot, whilst I was on my hiatus. I didn't comment on a lot of stuff, but I did a lot of reading and I did a lot of watching different people's posts. And like I said, I was very disturbed that nobody was saying, hey, we need to jump on top of this. They're just, just saying, oh, well, here we go. No, we have the right to say, no, this is not what we want. And, by 30 states in the District of Columbia passing these bills in their state, stating that's what they want for their states, and other states are standing back in the sidelines, like South Carolina, because that's going to be their biggest argument right now is it's not federally regulated by the government. And I'm going to be honest with you. The things that is regulated by the government ain't great for us, so that shouldn't be a stance, but that's one of the stance they are taking. And so with that in mind, this needs to happen very quickly to take it out the hands of the people in North and South Carolina that is oblivious to the constant campaign of the last 4 years that I know of personally, that I have went to both states legislatures, and to talk about these subject matters intensely. So
yes, and we cannot back up and we cannot back down. And speaking up is not a crime. I have information, and there was one attorney that I spoke with back over the summer that was interested in you, actually, Miss Green Jeans. I don't know if he ever contacted you, but I know attorneys in North Carolina that are willing to help us. If you're scared to stand up, I mean, I will do what I can as a representative for North Carolina Normal to see that you're taken care of to the best of my ability.
Well, I appreciate that.
I'm tired of people feeling like they can't stand up and they don't have a support system. And it's good to know your laws. In North Carolina, you are allowed to have 22 grams of cannabis. Not legally, but it's $100 fine for your first offense, plus the cost of court.
Okay, this is a question I want to ask you on that real quick. Because as I read the legislation, I might have been reading the old law. They had broke it down to how many joints can you have. Is that still on the books right now?
That was never on the books from what I understand. And I've studied the law to an extent in the past year as I have been composing proposed bills, not only for medical cannabis, but drug reform policies all the way around.
Okay.
I was an opiate addict, and I was saved by cannabis because I was in a motorcycle wreck. And whenever you go through things like that, they like to give you things that aren't really good for you. And I saw the light. My mother, she's a nurse, and she said, what's wrong with just cannabis? And I was like, well, there's nothing wrong with just cannabis other than the fact that I'm addicted to these things that the doctor's given me. So, I'm speaking from experience that, this is a viable option, and I'm tired of our government telling me what I can put in my body. It's okay for people to drink liquor. It's okay for them to smoke cigarettes. But, Lord, don't put cannabis in your body.
That is so true, and it's been hilarious. Have you checked out the video yet that I shared where this one sheriff was on there? I mean, just posted up with his cup of coffee, just as proud as he was that he's arresting us cannabis users.
I did not see that. I'm probably glad I didn't, because I'd have probably been infuriated.
Yes, I am highly ticked. And he used teenagers as a prop. That's what made me mad.
Ooh.
Yes, you got to check the video out. I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to raise your blood pressure, because it raised mine. And that's what made me start talking about it even more. And, like I said, it's a lot of stuff that we're going to cover today. And some of it, I'm going to put it out there right now before we go any further. Some of the conversations today is going to make some people feel uneasy. But these conversations need to happen.
Yes, they do. They need to come together. We need to come together. I mean, it's plain that there's differences. But we need to talk about the fact that it's minority communities, poor communities, that, they're the one catching the brunt of this. And poor knows no color.
That's right. And that's what a lot of people fail to realize. But at the same time, for decades, for at least 40 years, I personally know about, poor and black has been aligned, and that's not the case. You have just as many poor whites as you do poor blacks.
Yes. And, and it's a poverty issue. They want us to be kept down. They are killing us. They have put genocide on us to the point that they can't even get away from their own genocide now.
That is so true. This what the deal is. They've had their hand out and doing this here, making it rain. Big Pharma has been making it rain over the House and Senate for years. I remember back in the day, when I first started going through the VA system and going through the hospitals for my post-traumatic stress disorder and different symptoms on a military base now, watching these men and women come through with their little briefcases and everything, with their little samples of medication given to these doctors and having them, we want to put your people on this.
Mm-hmm.
And was giving them vacations. trips,
And they
money.
they don't have the studies done. Our FDA is a joke. They're not really regulating anything. They're as long as they're making money, they're looking at the bottom dollar.
They're looking
And
at
at the end,
Go ahead.
they don't care about us. Is what I see. It's kind of like they want us all to die. And what we need to do as a community is, number one, stop being scared of the police. I know that we have a reason to be scared. I've started partnering with my local police and trying to act like I am somebody, because I'm not committing a crime. It finally came across my head. I was sitting down thinking about it as I was smoking, and I was like, this is not a crime. Why am I scared of the police?
That is so true.
I'm not committing a crime. And then Thorne Peters out in Tennessee, I started listening to him a little bit, and he's a mess, but he's right. If you get pulled over, just say no mens rea.
Mm-hmm.
You are the law.
That's
And
it.
if you can, hush. They're probably still going to take you to jail. You're probably still going to go through the system. But until you have admitted that you have committed a crime, you're in the free, you're in the clear, because you have the right to say, look, I didn't kill anybody. I'm not raping anybody. I'm not pushing this on anybody. And there's no crime.
Exactly. And it's sad that we have to know how to act around the police. I know this more than anybody else. And I'm going to break it down to you how I was taught. And this is long before it got to the point where it's at now. This is how I was taught. My grandparents, when I first started driving the car, they made sure I knew if I got stopped by the police, they keep my hands at a 10 and 2 position. When that police officer walked up to the car, you kept them hands on the 10 and 2 position, and you turned and looked them straight in the eye and asked them, what is the problem today, officer? You be polite and you be precise. 9 times out of 10, if they see you doing that, they gonna relax. And then the conversation goes a lot smoother. I've got out in a lot of speeding tickets over the years doing just that.
Me too. Miss Green Jeans, I'm going to tell you the truth. Just by doing that, I have been able to one time give an officer half my joint that I was smoking while going 100 miles an hour down the road.
Oh my God.
And he took it. I got a ticket for speeding, but I don't have a cannabis charge on my record.
Yeah.
Because I was honest. I mean, how are you gonna say no? I went to smoking it, and the cloud hits me in the face.
That is so fair to say, but like I was saying, it's very hard. And I've been blessed enough that when I got stopped, and trust me, my car has been searched many a times. I've never had cannabis on me, in the car, or anything, because I am so scared of that fact of being stopped and searched and just thrown down to the ground, because where I'm at in Florida, they don't mind on a hot day putting you on that hot concrete or that hot sand and keeping you there for 10 to 15 minutes while they tear your damn car up. So knowing that fact alone, by us living in an illegal state, and what we're saying, Mr. Popo, past tense, okay, for those police officers like to tune in, because I know it's a few of you out there. When you get home with your package, that's where it's supposed to stay, home, because you have made it to your destination. There's no way, and I'm not saying, I know some people do drive and smoke.
Amen.
I do know this for a fact, and I'm going to tell you right now, cut it out. Cut it out.
Yeah.
I understand that you function better. A lot of us function better high behind the wheel, especially in this area, Charlotte and the Rock Hill area, because 77 is a bitch.
Yes, and you do not want to be in that road rage mode. I understand. I really do. But, I learned this a long time ago. Me and one of my homeboys was out whenever I was a young lady.
Mm-hmm.
And he would always have just a little bit of his stash with him. He never would carry the whole stash. And he would always be like, hey, I ran out or whatever. And it would make me mad because he'd be like, man, you got a whole half a bag at the house. Why didn't you bring some more? But, I smoked with him anyway. Well, he got locked up and everybody's stuff got taken. He was the only one that had some whenever we got out.
That's right. You know, the rule of thumb is, and once again, I'm not telling nobody. Please understand, I'm not telling you to break the law. So if you get locked up, don't say Miss Green Jeans told you to do this, okay? This is the rule of thumb. Don't carry no more on you than you can smoke. Or you can eat. Or you can eat.
We're not legal counsel.
No, we're not, by no means. But that's my rule of thumb. If you must travel with it, and you got to have it with you, don't get no more out there than you can eat. And once again, I'm not condoning you go break the law, by no means. I don't want to hear later on I get a knock at my door. Are you Miss Green Jeans, better known as Rosemary Wallace? I ain't trying to go down like that. I'm just saying, for conversation reasons only. This is an A and B conversation. Now, if you see the way for the police to be into it, that's on you.
Exactly. And but I am telling you, Miss Rosemary, what I'm finding with these police officers is they do not want to lock us up. Half of them agree with it. I had a 30-minute conversation 2 days ago in the vape shop with one of my local cops. He has my card. He got some more of my cards to give some of his officers so that we could partner with LEAP. I mean, these officers, they are veterans too, half of them. So they understand what we're going through. A lot of them have, post-traumatic stress disorder. They have combat injuries. And they don't deserve to take the opiates either. So this is why I have tried to partner with them. Because one, they are citizens too. They're human beings too who need to know that cannabis can help your body. And two, I know you think it's funny, Ms. Rosemary, but two, I want to know how they think. Because we need to know how these people think to better work with them.
That is so true, and I don't find it funny a bit. Matter of fact, I talk to the local police here in Rock Hill every chance I get, because I want us to have that partnership. I don't want us to be us versus them. They want these bills passed more than we do right about now, because what they're saying is it's going to decrease their workload and they can get the better things to do besides. They're saying they're getting tired of locking up people for nickels and dime bags and maybe a quarter bag, and these people losing money, their jobs, their families, and everything else over pot. And this is exactly how they, the police has expressed it to me. Which, trust me, the first time a police officer came up to me here in Rock Hill and told me that, I almost fainted. And then more and more, as I started getting out there working more and more in the community, I was finding this out even more. So now, when I see a cop at different events, we stop and we talk. And I tell them different things and they tell me different things. And I give them my card. I say, hey, this is who I am. This is the organization I'm with. And I tell them, if you know somebody that needs the help, or I told the officers, some of them have my personal number, that they can call me and they can talk to me if they have questions. So,
yes, and my chief of police has my number too, and to ask questions, because before the CBD thing came out, and now and here's another reason why we got to get on the national government. They cannot schedule CBD. How is it for 2 years? It was, actually 3 years, running around all safely. Everybody was fine with it, and then all of a sudden they're going to schedule it? No, we can't have that. That's a big blow to us.
Talk to Jeff Sessions.
They are really concerned with the fact of, since hemp is grown in North Carolina, if they don't test the cannabis, because their probable cause in North Carolina is to smell, it's their senses, to tell if it's cannabis. Well, they're implementing now tests to test for CBD, THC, and all this good stuff in North Carolina. If they lock somebody up, and they can and will, now they're police, they can pretty much do whatever they want to do. But after you get out, and they did not test that cannabis to see if it was hemp or marijuana before they lock you up, you can sue that department and you will win.
Wow. Now you just gave me something I didn't even know. I had no idea about that. And you got to remember, we have the CBD bill here in South Carolina, and they are currently growing hemp here in South Carolina. So that is an interesting precedent that I hope my listeners are taking notes on.
Yes, and I learned that from Mr. Bullman with Carolina Hemp Company. Mm-hmm. He's the one that brought that to my attention out of Asheville. And I have a little piece of paper. It's a little piece of literature You can give it to a cop if you want to. I would suggest not ever telling the cop how to do his job. But if you want to bring it to their attention, I have a paper written up with a picture of the hemp that was harvested in North Carolina that looks just like cannabis marijuana, and you can show it to your law enforcement officer and say, can you tell the difference?
Yeah, I'm going to give you my email address off air, and I would love to have a copy of that.
Okay, and spread it about. There's ways that we can get around this. We can help our law enforcement make it a low-level priority or a low-level enforced priority, and that's one way that we can work at it.
Yeah, we're going to have to look at decriminalization, what they did down in Georgia.
Yes. And one thing that I am noticing is Todd Simpson introduced a resolution to Asheville. I introduced one to Albemarle, where I'm at, and there's one being introduced in Winston-Salem that is a resolution to support a medical cannabis system should medical cannabis be legal in North Carolina. It doesn't change the law, but we have it on record. And whenever we go to the Capitol, we have these resolutions, and the more cities that sign, the better chance we have. And if you want to start doing this in South Carolina, we can edit it to whatever.
Yes, indeed. Because York, South Carolina has, I've had residents of York, South Carolina that has expressed the interest in this, and I would like to get that established for York, South Carolina, and also Rock Hill, South Carolina as well. And anybody else in the areas of South Carolina, Columbia, you need to speak up. All these places here, Moncks Corner, I don't know all of South Carolina, but I would love to get for those two that's already shown interest in that.
Myrtle Beach really needs to speak up, because every time I go to Myrtle Beach, I get something with a cannabis leaf on it. Now they can't even lie about their cannabis culture going on now.
Oh man, Myrtle Beach is open. Woo! Let me tell you like this here. I had an interesting conversation the other day about Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach is a catch-22 in itself. They have an open, thriving business down there, but at the same time, after tourist season is over, they say them police get a little happy down there, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
So we got to work on them hard.
Yes, and so if people want to start introducing their resolution, there's going to be people that hear this that have never thought about being activists in their life, but all of a sudden maybe today we have encouraged them to stand up and start with your city manager. You don't have to go directly to the mayor. Start with the city manager or the city secretary, and start working with them, emailing them, and then you can ask for city council minutes. Mm-hmm. They do not have to hear you legally in the state of North Carolina. However, if you go to a police community liaison meeting, you will see your mayor, all of your city officials, all of your preachers and higher people in the community will be there, and the police. And it's an open public floor for people to start speaking with.
Well, I got a solution also what I would love to do with you as well. I'd like to bring you back next month. And we make this a once a month thing to do a progress report each month for us this year. I'm starting a new year, a new program, and what that means is this: we're gonna keep everybody in the loop about everything, especially here in North and South Carolina. I know I cover a lot out of state, but I'm also gonna be covering a lot in state, because we got a lot of stuff that's going on here in the Carolinas that everybody needs to be up on, and everybody's not on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And believe it or not, it is a lot of people are starting to listen to these podcasts here on Speaker and other platforms that are really getting a lot of attention to people. So as of now, we have a platform, and I'm hoping by the middle part, close to the end of the year, we'll get somebody to pick us up on a radio station, an actual radio station that's 24/7, that's listening, that we can get to a wider audience, because believe it or not, here in North and South Carolina, a lot of people still listen to radio.
Oh, I do. I love the radio.
I do too.
So it's not a bad thing at all to be on the radio. I'm happy to be here. Thank you. And we need some attention. There is finally things going on in the Carolinas, and we need to let people know that it's happening. One thing that did happen is Tom Tillis signed a research study bill. And I just want to put this out there. If you hear this and you're a North Carolina resident, call Mr. Tillis and ask him what research he's learning, and ask him how he plans to use it in a medical cannabis supply system, please. I would appreciate it.
That is a good one. When I read that, I'm like, how is he doing an explore? You know, this is just me saying this in my mind, but I'm saying it out in the open now. When I read this, you know, and I've been waiting to say something about this so bad. I'm going to direct this to Mr. Tillis. Mr. Tillis, me and many of my friends have been to Raleigh. We have expressed, we have told you our personal medical records, and you're still exploring, sir? How much more explanation do you need? Sir, even though I currently live here in South Carolina, I am a U.S. military dependent. What that means is the armed forces. So what that means is I represent every state. So if you'd like for me to give you an explanation of how it works and down to the letter, considering I just came through knee replacement surgery just this past March, and I still can count over 70-some pills that was given to me by the doctors that I have not taken by using cannabis. I think that's plenty right there. We have all the medical records that I will be happy to turn over to anybody that's willing to take a look at them to prove it. I mean, and I have all this. This is what's so funny about it is I have now I'm gonna tell you like this here. I'm scared to death because of the documentation I have on myself with some of the things I have done personally. I am so scared every time I go to that door sometimes. I think I bring on more PTSD to myself for the simple fact is this. I've stuck my neck so far out there as of now. It would take just a swipe just to knock me off. But it's too important to back down. So I'm putting it out there.
I feel the same way. I unfortunately have post-traumatic stress disorder, not service related, but it is in the back of your head. It's like, you know, I'm making noise out here, and they don't like people who make noise.
No, they don't.
But you know what? It's worth it because if I go down, I didn't sit down and take it. I stood up and took it. And Rosemary, you're a warrior. At heart, you are a warrior, and I love that about you. So, I mean, just keep fighting with me because I'm right here beside you.
Well, I ain't going to quit fighting, baby. I'm too, like I'm saying, I tell everybody, I got too much invested as of now. What people fail to realize and don't understand is this, as an activist, this is an unpaid position. When I mean unpaid, we get more grief. We put up with more arguments. We put up with more BS than the average person on a job. But we're so hard stone believing what we believe and how this plant works. I put my marriage on the line. I put relationships on the line. I put everything I near and dear to my heart on the line to get this point across that cannabis works. And I can't back down because I promised too many people that I would continue to fight. And each day I come on and speak on this airways. If I speak on Facebook, if I speak on Instagram, if I speak on Twitter, this is coming from the heart, ladies and gentlemen. This is not an act. By no means this is an act because I know what the pharmaceuticals can do to you. I'm walking living proof. I'm on a CPAP machine. Every night before I go and lay my head down on a pillow, I have to put a mask on my face to breathe thanks to medication by Big Pharma. So when you think this is a joke, it's not.
No, it's not a joke to us at all. And we put up with a lot of headache, but I love what I do. I love being able to help people. And, you know, I mean, we're trying to make changes. And we need more people to stand up and understand that we don't get paid for this. This is something that you have to believe in with all of your heart. And you have to want it to happen for people. And a lot of people don't believe that in 2018 that people still have good hearts.
Yeah, we do.
People are still good. People still want to help people. So, I mean, and you're going to have to believe it. You're going to have to believe that people still want to help people. And if you are sitting down and you think, and you see something, you're like, oh, somebody needs to do something about this, that is something within the universe telling you you need to get up and do something about it.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think a lot of people pay attention to some of the things that I post. But if you look on my Facebook, it will tell you plainly. I'm a person that does more than talk about it. I do something about it. And I've been that way my whole life. So this is something that's not just came on. It's just got to the point that you got to quit being scared and step out. I'm going to tell you like this here. When I came out in the church, that was one of the scariest experiences in my life. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. It's not that the fact that I was in the church. It's the fact of where I was at in the church and what I was doing. You know, I've sung on that church. Yeah, I sung on that church choir for years. I've been on the usher board at that same church for years. My mother-in-law was one of the deaconesses of the church. So coming out like that, I put a hell of a lot on the line. And I have no regrets. And if I had to do it again, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Because I can't lie to God. I can lie to man all day. But at the end of the day, I got to look myself in that mirror and say, are you going to sit here and constantly listen to a pastor of a church criticize what you use as your medication, demonizing it, and knowing what the Bible states? And once again, folks, I know there's some people out there that don't believe in religion. This is not finna be a sermon, okay? I have to state that because I have some friends out there that are atheists. And I respect them and love them, so I have to let them know that.
Exactly. We accept all kinds of people. You ain't got to be any kind of anything for me to love you.
Exactly. So I have to make that statement each time because I don't want nobody to get it twisted. But you know, when you belong to a church here in the South, that's a lot.
Yes, it is, and the whole town might have shunned you. They don't, I mean, and I live in a little tiny town, and I mean, it's growing now. I think there's like 100,000 people now. But back whenever there was 15,000 people, they would shun you.
Honey, we got 72,000 here, and I still got some people. Now, it's changed somewhat. You know, this was like 3 years ago when I came out, and it's changed somewhat. I've been accepted. I've been asked to come back to that church, but I just haven't made my mind yet to come back. Because I'm happy at the church I'm at right now. But, you know, it takes a lot. You know, for a while, you know, some people just didn't even talk to me because of what I did. But you know what? I didn't care. It didn't stop me.
Well, yes, there's a lot of people that don't want to associate with us. But there are activists who are getting out now. And this is one thing that I want to encourage us to do. Let's get out in the community. I hear some of us talking, the medical cannabis community can help us so much. Well, we need to be helping before it gets here.
Right.
Let's be out feeding the homeless. Let's, you know, be out making sure that people are okay, trying to help in harm reduction for addicts. Let's be out doing what we're passionate about that we can help in our community, that we can give for free, that we don't mind giving.
That's right. That is so true, because right now, I got friends that I check on. I have some elderly friends that I make my business to check on at least once a day, because I know they don't interact with many people, and that makes me feel good. So I'm going to think about finding out what I can do to help other elderly people that's here in the community. You know, I never seen me as an advocate for the elderly, but it's starting to work that direction, and I'm enjoying it. I mean, yeah. I learned so much from my older people, and believe me, speaking as being older,
they get locked in and shut in the house where an aide comes, or they go to the home. And what kind of life is that?
None.
I mean, I did home care whenever I was young, and I'm gonna tell on myself a little bit. There was this older lady. And all the other little home care nurses, she privately paid us. It wasn't like the state paid us or anything. It was her own money from her family that was paying us. And she would ask for a bottle of liquor and some Pale Mels. But she was already 90 years old. I was just old enough to buy liquor. I was out to get her liquor. And I would sit there with that woman, and I learned more from that woman drinking liquor, playing cards after work than I ever would have learned in a college, because she had that wisdom. But, I mean, they do, and protections need to be in place for these people. Let's not forget our older generation.
No, we shouldn't. And believe it or not, our older generation is turning to cannabis. I don't mind sharing my age at all. I'm 55 and getting ready to be 56 in March. And I guess
you don't look it, girl.
Well, thank you so very much. But the thing is this, I'm the AARP age. And so, knowing I've been doing a lot of reading and research on the elderly, and hello, Robert Faison down in Florida with the senior tour down there. He's doing a lot of work. But what I want to do is piggyback on that a little bit to make sure people understand. A lot of our elderly people, some of them, this is them using the cannabis for the first time for relief. I had a phone call. This is the funniest thing. I'm not going to get this person's name out. But they're over the age of 50. Matter of fact, it was a classmate. They called me extremely upset. And I asked them to calm down first and foremost. And I asked them what was wrong. And they told me they went and asked their child to buy them some cannabis. They said the child bought them the cannabis. The child is over the age of 18, so let's get that straight. The child brought them the cannabis. They showed them how to roll it up and everything. But what the young lady did not tell her dad is how strong it was. She left him to his own devices. So I'm getting a phone call around 11 o'clock with this gentleman in a panic because he done smoked some. I'm gonna tell you what it sounded like he smoked. Sound like he told from the description. It sounded like Girl Scout cookies. And if you ever smoke Girl Scout cookies for the first time and not a smoker, you're in trouble. So what I told him to do, first of all, you're not gonna die. Relax and breathe.
Poor fella.
I told him like this. I said, get you a glass of water and get you something to eat. That'll help bring the high down a little bit. And I said, the next time your daughter go out to get you something, ask her what she giving you. It was so hard because I knew this person personally, and I've known this person for over 40-something years. So at the same time, it was so hard not to laugh at them. But trying to keep a straight and professional manner about myself, it was extremely hard. But I got through the call. As soon as I get through that call, I hung up. I was rolling because you don't think about people, first time trying cannabis and the effects that it has. And that's something we need to talk about among our people that's over the age of 50. And a lot of people are not talking about that. And these classes are not being given properly in these states for these seniors to recognize how to use these products.
Yes, because they have no idea. And that's one of the main reasons why I fight for medical cannabis. I'm for decriminalization. I want it abolished. I want it to be, regulated in some kind of outfit. That's my goal. But I push for medical cannabis so much because there are these older people who they have no access to cannabis.
That is so
how
true.
are they going to get it? They need it.
They need it. And this is the next thing that scares me. With legalization, as far as the medical or legalization period, with the medical side, these are the things that worry me. And that's on North and South Carolina side. How far are they going to go for us to pay for the cards? How far are they going to go, and how many visits are we going to have to do to see the doctors? And, we both know in North and South Carolina, we don't have the same money structure as somewhere like New York or even Florida. I had a person to contact me on one of the medical bills, and he told me he gets $863 a month to live on. That, ladies and gentlemen, that's not a lot of money when you got all your other expenses.
Now, I have a little bill that I composed. It's a proposed bill. And I do not know exactly who's going to put it in yet. I'm working on finding someone. But here's what I suggested that was done. We need collectives, and we need home grows. My executive director, while I'm thinking about this, has asked that when you call or ask for something, make sure that you include home grow. You have to be specific.
Exactly.
But these medical collectives, we can get together, and 1 in every 10 plant can be donated. You come in, you show proof that you're on government assistance, and you get your medicine for free.
That would be great. That would be such a blessing to so many.
I hope that they go along with it.
I'm gonna tell you like this here. Hang on to that, because I might can find a place for that to go.
Okay.
I seriously, yeah, we're gonna talk off air, because I think I already know a place that can go right now. That needs it. That truly needs that, because like I said, you gotta remember, we still have states. You know, I know we're talking about North and South Carolina. We still have states that have passed the bills, that the bills are so jacked up. I mean,
yes, and well, we have a bill writing department. I didn't know this until I started researching it. And so whenever you start composing a proposed bill, whatever you want, you have to put it through the paragraph.
Right.
So in each section, because they'll just rip it out and it won't be there no more.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they're cutting things up, and I hope that they can see that they need to do the make it affordable for everybody. Let us localize our economies, but you know, and we do have faith. And something, whenever you said faith, is I met this lady via Facebook. Her name is Jennifer Mita. I think that's how you pronounce her last name.
Mm-hmm.
She came from a legal state. Listen, we done stepped out on faith a whole lot, Miss Green Jeans, because we have started writing the applications and all the forms for the state. We done started getting them together for them. So we're just going to put in what is suggested by other people, what they would like to see as far as prices and regulations, because I don't want the state of North Carolina or South Carolina or anybody to come back and say that it's going to cost them money, because that's been the biggest argument. Oh, it's going to cost us so much money to implement a medical cannabis system. Well, if I have everything done for them for free, there goes that argument out the window.
Exactly. And this is the thing, I'm glad I have you on air today where we can talk about, and yes, maybe we can get some other people to talk about this as well. I don't know if you know, but South Carolina has a bill on the books. That's signed by the governor. Since 1980, this bill is going on 38 years old. Yes. And DHEC will not get off their, excuse the expression, but that's why I have the show I have on speaker. They won't get off their ass and do something about it. If DHEC don't want to do it, I'm quite sure me, you, and the people that you working with and the people I'm working with Minorities for Medical Marijuana, will be glad to drop everything between normal and Minorities for Medical Marijuana. We can get together and take this from DHEC and put it into use. And what my goal is to go see the governor. That is my goal. And I don't want to go by myself. I like to take you, and there's a couple more people I like to take with me to.
You know I'm down. You know I
see
will
the governor.
Be there. I will be there in my little business suit. I might even have me a tie on.
But that is my ultimate goal. I want to talk to the governor here in South Carolina and ask him, sir, we have been to the legislators. You have the power to override everything. And can't we get this done?
Why aren't you?
That's my point.
You know,
he's willing to sit out now. I don't know how much. I know you be busy in North Carolina, but in South Carolina, this man's proposing that we spend $4 million on the opioid epidemic. I have no problem with that, but this is where I have a problem. Okay, I have a problem, but I don't have a problem. Why are we spending $4 million on you giving them more medication? Because we both know in these treatment centers, they take them off one drug to put them on another. Oh shit! And that's not cool. Sorry, I knocked down something that's very important.
You got into it. No, it's not. I'm gonna tell you something. I talked to a friend of mine the other day that's on Suboxone.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I take kratom or kratom, however you want to say it.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him. I said, "Well, when are you gonna stop taking that?" And he said, "The doctor said I'm gonna have to be on it for the rest of my life." Ooh. You hear me? The rest of my life.
That's what scares me.
I said, so he's going to put you on another opiate to make sure that you don't take the other opiate for the rest of your life.
So that's why I want to go talk to the governor personally. If I had to pack up my little pills and everything I need to do, and me and my little cane need to hobble up to his office, I don't care. I just want the craziness to stop. That's all. I don't feel that me, you, or anybody else. I got friends right now, and you've read them on Facebook. Matter of fact, we're mutual friends. And I know he don't mind me putting his name on it. I'm scared to death of my friend Stan. I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. Stan, I hope you're listening, because this is for you, hon. I'm scared to death for Stan, and I'm going to tell you reasons why. Stan is getting ready to have hip replacement surgery. That's one of the most painful surgeries that you can have. And at the same time, he's talking about living in an RV just so he can have his medicine. Why should he have to sell all his belongings here in South Carolina to move to Colorado that he doesn't have an idea of the prices that he's going to face out there, far as possibly getting rental space for his RV, which is going to be extremely expensive. Not even talking about the cost to get out there in an RV.
Right, or food. Yes.
Or other incidentals that can happen. We're talking a ton of money, this man, and then God forbid if he gets in trouble out there. You see what I'm saying? And I am so worried and scared about him. I'm trying to talk him into going to Florida. I'm not going to lie to you, because I don't want to see him in that situation in Colorado. It's nothing against Colorado. I love Colorado to death. And if I could move back out there tomorrow, I would. But knowing the prices out there and knowing the pitfalls and knowing how much it costs to get started out there, I don't think it's fair.
Yes. No, it isn't. And people don't have the money to move. A lot of people are like, oh, well, why are you just fighting for it in North Carolina or in South Carolina? Why don't you just move? Well, first of all, I don't think I should have to uproot my whole damn family. I have a mama and a daddy and some sisters and some cousins and some aunties. Not everybody's going to go with me.
Right.
Second of all, I don't have the money for $3,000 a month in an apartment plus lights. I think it costs like $30,000 a month to live in Colorado. That's the average.
Yes, it is. And that's why Shaq.
Yeah, so that's another reason why I fight, because what about the children who are disabled that they already are on assistance? Their parents have to take assistance because they have to take care of the child. They don't have the money to move with that child.
No, they don't.
They just don't.
And Pete, that I'm speaking from personal experience. I lived out there exactly 1 year. And it took, right now, I lost a lot behind that move. I mean, y'all just don't know. I lost a ton of money behind that move, but it was worth it because I got an education. And I learned so much about the cannabis community, but at the same time, I almost lost my marriage. I had family members that didn't want to speak to me for a long time because they couldn't understand why I wanted to live in Colorado and not here.
Exactly.
And trying to explain that to a person that don't use cannabis and don't understand is like pulling his hen's teeth.
Exactly, because they don't get it. They're not sick, first of all, usually. And so they don't understand the relief that comes from it. And then they haven't looked at the research. They haven't gone to the National Institute of Health website and seen where they admit that it kills cancer.
Exactly. And I thank God for the people there in Colorado, all of Colorado. I love you. I miss you guys. And don't think I forgot about you. I want to come back out and see you. But right now, I am disabled. This last surgery I thought was going to help me to get back to work. Unfortunately, the doctors done told me to forget about work. That's not going to happen. Yeah, because my surgery didn't go as well as it's supposed to went. My knee works fine, but I have a 3-inch gash in my leg that possibly will never get well again. It feels like somebody's taking a hammer to my shin bone and literally hitting it every time I walk.
Ms. Rosemary,
so
I am sorry that you're going through that.
But you know what? I keep fighting. Because I know for a fact, each step I make, each time I get on this air, each time I post up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, I'm reaching one more person. And I'm going to make sure when it's all said and done, and if I have to go to my grave trying, I will, to make sure nobody will have to suffer like I did. And that's the goal.
Amen. Because nobody should have to wonder about how they're going to pay for a medicine, get a medicine, and they go into jail. I mean, we risk so much just to be healed the way that we choose to be healed, and it's nonsense. We are adults who are in our right minds, who are not committing a crime. And I'm behind you, Miss Lady, every step of the way. If you need me, the only thing you got to do is holler.
But thank you so very much. But like I said, I can't wait. We're gonna have our conversation might be off the air at 1:00, but me and you gonna cover some ground after because you got my mind working, and I love the fact when my mind. If you could see it, it's a cloud of smoke around me right now from my mind just working. How we can get so many things done in the next year. Because I think years in front of us. Because the point is this. If you listen to my show, I said time's up. Time is up for people to sit back and make excuses. Time is up. You know, like I said, for simple like the campaign I'm getting ready to launch after the show today. Everybody owns a cell phone as of now. So it isn't like you don't have a phone at your hip or in your hand at some point period of day. It takes exactly 2 minutes to make a call. If the line's busy, hang up. But
that's right.
If we don't do this now, we can forget
it's not ever going to get done.
No, and
it will never get done.
No.
And right now, there is momentum. Miss little Alexis Bortello, thank the Lord for that little girl. She came in this world and she's going to change so much.
Mm-hmm.
But while we need to get behind this little girl, it is time to get behind the child because it's going to take the children to fix this.
Yep. Yeah, because they ain't going to look at a rusty, dusty person like me and you, but that baby, they going to want to help 110%.
That's right.
And I'm behind her 110%. And I think about all the kids. When I first moved to Colorado and went to my first hearing there in Denver, and I was thinking about the programs that they were pushing at the time, and I think about the 25 to 30 kids that I actually got a chance to talk to and hug and speak to them and speak to the family members and everything and listen to the stories of how this plant helped so many children that was there that day. And I still water up with tears thinking that why can't my grandbabies get that type of help if they needed it here? Why?
Exactly. Now, you know, and it makes me tear up, you know. My daddy, he's a grown man. He had stage 4 cancer. They gave him 2 weeks to live. 3 days to 2 weeks to live. And they told me, it was me, him, and my mama in the room whenever the oncologist told him this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I looked dead at that oncologist, and I said, nah, that ain't gonna happen. And he was dead set telling me, your daddy's gonna die. He was dead set on it, trying to make me accept it. No, I'm not accepting it. I went, and I did what I had to do to heal my daddy. I made him a tincture. He's fine. The radiation and chemotherapy done more to him than the cancer really did.
Mm-hmm.
And
my favorite story.
You know, and why? What if it's someone else's family member that does not know where to get it? Does not know how to make it?
That's why I post up different things every day. That's why I would love to have class. My goal, now this is just my goal personally. My goal is one day to grow this platform to where I can have classes online, webinars, seminars all throughout both states, North and South Carolina, that we can go around and teach these classes on how to grow, on how to make tincture, on how to make edibles, all this. I got people in place that is ready to go, that are skilled and trained in these positions. I have tasted some of their products and know what they can do. But they just need the opportunity.
Yes, and you know, and people need to know that they can heal themselves.
Exactly.
And quit listening to the government. Quit believing everything somebody tells you. You have the world of information in the palm of your hands, just like Rosemary said.
My favorite word. Okay, Google.
is, and you can look it up for yourself.
Exactly. I said, if you don't believe me, Google it.
Mhm. So, I mean, and you can heal yourself. You don't need doctors. You might need them if you got a broken arm to set it.
Right.
You might need them, for serious things. All these minor things that they try to tell us that we got to go see them for every month.
Mm-mm.
We don't need that.
No. I'm going to be honest with you. I go see the doctor maybe twice a year, and that's for my checkups because I have a heart condition as of now, thanks to Tramadol. Yeah, I just love that Tramadol, son of a. I have to see a cardiologist every 6 months, and I have my physical done every year. And the doctors are surprisingly surprised on how healthy I am, considering everything my body has been through the Tramadol. I mean, and they asked me, how do I do it? I said, cannabis.
Yes.
It is in my medical records for over 20 years. I have been stating, like I said, I can say this now because I'm out here. For over 20 years, I've been using cannabis, but not correctly. And what I mean by not correctly is this: I've been using it with tobacco, which is a no-no, which is a very bad no-no. I don't do that anymore. But I juice it, I vape it, I eat it. Any kind of way I can get it into my system, I put it there. My endocannabinoid system, I promise myself and God, I will never let my endocannabinoid system drop as low as I did early this year. I'm going to tell you like this here. For somebody to be cannabinoid deficient sucks. It truly does. It hurts.
And a lot of us with these diseases, these autoimmune diseases that they're trying to put on us, we're cannabinoid deficient. That's the new thing that I'm going around telling people. They say I got an autoimmune disease. No, you're cannabinoid deficient. You need some cannabinoids. That's all you need.
And see, what people fail to realize is in breast milk.
And it works.
And it works.
It works. And people it's a plethora of things that you can use it for. I mean, you got topicals. You can eat it. You can put it up under your tongue. You can, cook with it. And it was a staple. Here's where I think what happened with all this disease, and they had to start putting all the chemicals into, especially if you eat meat. Is in 1937, the cows and the pigs were fed cannabis.
That's correct.
So they didn't have the diseases. And we were eating healthy, they were eating healthy animals.
Right.
Now it's not like that. We were having, our cannabinoid system was getting fulfilled through the meats that we ate.
Right.
Half of the time. Now it's not happening. And they done this for a reason. I am going to go all conspiracy theory because this is what I believe in my heart. Since 1937, they've known what cannabis can do. And they said, we got a population problem.
Yep.
How do we fix it? We take away the miracle plant.
Yep, that is so true, and people fail to realize that. But we're getting so back to everybody, doing their own thing. They're doing their own gardening. They're raising their own animals and everything, and trying to get back into that healthy perspective. True enough, but what about the people that live in the cities that can't do that? We have to fight for them too. Because not everybody's going to be able to grow their vegetables. Not everybody's going to be able to raise their own animals. And in order for us to change the world around for everybody, we got to do it. I mean, the time is up.
I want to talk about structured water. I do represent a structured water company. I'm not going to plug myself, but structured water is water that goes through a magnetized and electrolyzed system, okay?
You're not talking about that, what that new thing is, the raw water? I strongly discourage that.
It's alkaline water, but not to drink it for humans.
Okay.
It can be used as a pesticide, a fertilizer. It kills mold and mildew and disinfects on plants. It can be used in agriculture and replace the chemicals that they're putting on our food.
Interesting concept. We're going to have to talk about that definitely more off air. And maybe I bring you back on a different show so we can just talk about that in itself. But what scares me, and we got to get ready to close because I didn't realize we was almost out of time. We might, since we are so close to time, we'll probably go a little 10 to 15 minutes overtime, folks, because we're coming close to the 1 o'clock. Well, matter of fact, we're after 1 o'clock hour, which I should have already been assigned off the air. So we're going to go to 1:15 to give a perfect wrap up and everything. I know my shows have been running long today, but I want the points to get out there. But, this thing with the raw water that everybody is talking about and so, high up on, that they're getting the minerals and everything about this. You're drinking unfiltered water. You don't realize what got to that water before you did. And that scares me. They're drinking this water from wherever and not putting heat to it to kill any bacteria, anything. You don't know what you're finna do to your system, and you're gonna hate yourself if you go out there in a lake or stream or somewhere, get that water, and that moose or that deer or that cat or that dog done urinated in it, or whatever the case may be, and it didn't run through a natural filtration system, and you drink it, and now here you go in the world of hurt. And that's scary. And so this is what I'm going to say on that. Folks,
it is.
That's a fad. Don't do it. It's not healthy. It's not safe. Please don't. I mean, if you feel that you got to do the raw water, do me a favor. Before you drink that water, bring it to a rolling ball. And it takes 3 minutes for it to get to a rolling ball. At that point, your raw water will be safe to drink. And I have to put that out there, because we have a lot of people that do cannabis that do feel like they need to live the natural lifestyle 110%. But I don't want them to get sick in the process. So that's the reason why I'm putting that information out there today. I normally don't talk off script, off cannabis like that, but in this case, it's just that serious, folks. Please remember, if you're going to drink raw water, bring it to a boil for 3 minutes. That kills any pesticides, fungicides, or any those bad little critters that could be off in their names that's 15 miles long and I can't pronounce them.
Right. And if you think that it's safe to do so, in the third world countries, they do not have any of the pollution that we have, but we send items over there for them to filter right out of their mouth to drink it out of the stream, because it is causing so much disease. So just think about that the next time you want to try to do it. I mean, I'm not knocking you for it. It might be the best water that tastes in the world. You might feel better, but I'm with Rosemary. I'm a little bit concerned that you might get worms or something.
Yeah. But we're going to go ahead and do the close. And Ellen, I appreciate you so much. You must come back again, girl. I mean, when I say that hour flew, we didn't even take a break, girl. So that lets me know you got to come back. And we got to, we're going to bring up some other articles, because I'm quite sure you had notes that we didn't even touch today, because we've been all over the planet, because we're so excited. This is the first of the year. This is the first show for Rosemary's World of Cannabis. So I got to bring you back. Can I bring you back next week or next Thursday so we can cover your other topics?
Yes, let's make this we can make this a weekly thing. Let's talk about, I love talking about cannabis, but let's talk about how we can use cannabis to change the world.
Okay,
There's 5,000 ways that we can do it. So
guess what? You have the same time slot next Thursday. So if you want to hear some more from Ellen next Thursday, please tune in, because I'm going to bring her back. We're going to get ready to sign off, and me and her got a lot of talking to do about next week's show. So Ellen, tell everybody how to reach you and everything, and I'm going to go ahead and do the sign off after you do so.
Well, you can find me on Facebook as Ellen Nikki Worth Lambert. You can also go to the not-for-profit that I volunteer for, which is NC Normal, and that's www.ncnormal.org, NORML.
And I thank you so much. Don't you go nowhere, because I'm finna sign off in just a second myself. Hey, guys, I thank you so much for tuning in to the first show of the year for Rosemary's World of Cannabis. And you know how to reach me, but if in case you forgot and you partied too hard last year, let me go ahead and break it down to you. We're going to start with Twitter first. You're going to look for Miss Green Jeans, #1 on Twitter. Instagram, you're going to look for Miss Green Jeans. On Facebook, you're going to look for two things. You're going to look for me, Rosemary Wallace. And if you can't remember that, look for Miss Green Jeans. I have my own page. From time to time, I do go live on there, so check it out sometime. In other words, guys, we finna do a wrap. Thank you, 710 Radio. Thank you, Rick. I love you. Rick Rainwright is the reason. Rick Rainwright. He's out in Denver, Colorado. He is the reason why we keep doing these shows each day, from the Wake and Bake Show to Rosemary's World of Cannabis, which is going to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 12 noon. Your Wake and Bake Show will be at 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. So, guys, until the next time, I love you. Remember this. The fight has just begun. But until your fight is over, you have to keep fighting. And what I mean is this. For 40 plus years that I know of in my lifetime, cannabis has been illegal. I want to say for 50 years now, that 50th year, guess what? It's going to be legal all across the United States. And we can all do it together. Just as we take each other's hand and walk down that road together. This is Miss Green Jeans, better known as Rosemary Wallace. That's my time. I love y'all. See you tomorrow.